Lena only came to the party because her best friend Tessa begged her. "Please, just 1 hour," Tessa said. "Rich people throw the best parties." Lena rolled her eyes, but agreed. The mansion was huge. Crystal lights hung from the ceiling, music played softly, men in expensive suits and women in shining dresses filled the room. Lena felt out of place in her simple red dress. "I told you," Tessa whispered, "tonight could change your life." Lena laughed, or ruin it. A group of friends pulled them into the center of the room. "Blindfold dare game!" someone shouted. Everyone cheered. Before Lena could refuse, Tessa tied a black silk cloth over her eyes. "Your dare," a girl said, laughing, "is to pick any man in this room and kiss him." The crowd screamed. Lena covered her face. "No way!" "Yes way," Tessa said. "Do it!" She could hear people clapping. "Fine," Lena said, "but if I die, I'm haunting all of you." Everyone laughed. She took a deep breath and walked forward blindly. 1 step, 2 steps, 3. The room suddenly became very quiet. Too quiet. Lena reached out and touched a strong chest covered by a black suit. The man did not move. Her heart raced. "This one," someone whispered. Lena smiled nervously. Then she grabbed his tie, pulled him closer, and kissed him. The whole room froze. No music, no laughter, just silence. Slowly, Lena removed the blindfold. Her smile disappeared. Standing in front of her was the most feared man in the city, Damian De Luca, the Mafia boss. Cold gray eyes, sharp jaw, danger written all over him. Everyone was staring. Someone dropped a glass. Lena's hands started shaking. "No," she whispered. Damian looked at her without speaking. His hand moved slowly to her waist. He pulled her closer. And in a low, dangerous voice, he said, "Interesting choice." Lena's vision blurred. Her knees gave out, and she fainted in his arms. If you were Lena, would you run or stay? Comment "run" or "stay" below. I'm reading every one. And subscribe now, because when Lena wakes up, Damian will be waiting. Lena opened her eyes slowly. Everything was white. White walls, white sheets, white light. Her head hurt badly. She tried to sit up, but a sharp pain stopped her. "Careful." A deep voice filled the room. Her whole body froze. She turned her head slowly, and there he was, Damian De Luca, sitting beside her hospital bed like he belonged there, still in his black suit, calm, cold, watching her. Lena's heart nearly stopped. "You..." Damian lifted one eyebrow. "Yes, me." She pulled the blanket closer, like it could protect her. "This is a dream," she whispered. "Please let this be a dream." "No," he said, calmly. "Dreams are usually kinder." Lena swallowed hard. I kissed you by mistake." "I noticed." "I didn't know it was you." "I noticed that too." She looked around, desperate. "Can I leave?" "No." That one word hit harder than shouting. Lena stared at him. "What do you mean, no?" Damian leaned forward slightly. His voice was quiet, but somehow more frightening. "You touched the one man everyone fears, in front of half the city." He paused. "Now Everyone is watching. Lena's throat went dry. I said sorry. This is bigger than sorry. She wanted to cry. So what now? You punish me? For the first time, Damian smiled. It was small, dangerous, and somehow worse than anger. He stood up, walked closer, and stopped right beside her bed. Then he said the words that made her blood run cold. You kissed me first, Lena. He leaned down slightly. Now people will believe you belong to me. Her breathing stopped, and maybe his eyes locked on hers. I might let them. Lena stared at him in shock. Before she could speak, the hospital room door suddenly burst open. A terrified nurse rushed inside. Mr. De Luca, there's a problem. Damian turned. The nurse was shaking. Your enemies know about the girl. Silence. Damian's face changed instantly. Cold. Deadly. He looked back at Lena. And she knew one thing for sure. Her life would never be normal again. Be honest, do you think Damian is protecting her or trapping her? Comment protecting or trapping below. Lena barely had time to breathe. The nurse stood frozen near the door. Damian's face was unreadable, but the air in the room felt dangerous. Who knows? He asked. The nurse swallowed. 3 men were seen outside the hospital. They work for Russo. Lena frowned. Russo? The nurse looked at her like she had asked about death itself. Damian answered coldly. Victor Russo, my enemy. Lena's stomach dropped. Of course the Mafia boss had enemies. And of course, she was now part of the problem. She pulled the blanket tighter. I want to go home. Damian turned to her. That is the one place you cannot go. Why? Because if Russo believes you matter to me, he stepped closer. He will use you to destroy me. Lena shook her head fast. But I don't matter to you. The room went silent. Damian looked at her for a long second. Then he said quietly, that may no longer be true. Her cheeks burned. This man was impossible, terrifying, and somehow honest. Before she could answer, loud shouting came from outside. Then, bang! A gunshot. Lena screamed. The nurse dropped to the floor. Damian moved instantly. He pulled Lena out of bed and behind him. Stay close to me. Another gunshot. Glass shattered. Men were yelling in the hallway. Lena's hands shook so badly she could barely stand. This is insane! Yes, Damian said calmly. It is. The hospital door flew open. One of Damian's guards rushed in. Boss, they're inside! Damian's eyes darkened. He reached inside his jacket and pulled out a gun. Lena stared in horror. This was real. This was not a movie. This was her life now. Damian looked at her one last time. His voice was low. No matter what happens next, do not leave my side. Then he grabbed her hand, and together, they ran straight into the danger. But at the end of the hallway, someone was already waiting for them, smiling. Victor Russo himself. And he was looking directly at Lena. If this was you, would you trust Damian enough to stay by his side? Comment yes or no below. I want to know. The hallway was filled with fear. Broken glass covered the floor. People were screaming far away. And standing at the end of it all was Victor Russo. He looked calm. Too calm. Like a man enjoying someone else's nightmare. He wore a dark blue suit, a gold watch, and a smile that made Lena feel sick. Damian stepped in front of her, protective, dangerous. "Russo," he said coldly. Victor smiled wider. "De Luca, I heard your new little secret was beautiful, but I did not expect this." His eyes moved to Lena. Slowly, like he was studying her. Lena wanted to disappear. "She's prettier than the rumors," Victor said. Damian's voice dropped. "Look at her again, and you lose that smile." Victor laughed. "Oh, this is serious. You actually care." I said, "Leave." But Victor did not move. Instead, he took one step closer. "I came to make peace." Damian gave a dry smile. "You brought guns to a hospital." "I like dramatic entrances." Lena whispered, "This man is insane." Victor heard her and smiled. "I like her already." Damian's hand tightened around hers. Then Victor's face changed. No smile, no humor, only threat. "Let me be clear," he said. "You have two choices." He looked straight at Lena. "You come with me tonight?" Lena's heart stopped. "Or Damian watches everyone you love disappear." Silence. Even the air felt heavy. Lena could hear her own heartbeat. "No," Damian said. One word, sharp as a knife. Victor shrugged. "Then blood it is." He turned and began walking away. But before leaving, he looked back once more. "At midnight, Lena. Choose wisely." Then he was gone. The hallway stayed silent. Lena could barely breathe. She looked at Damian. "What do we do?" Damian stared at the empty hallway, his jaw tight, his eyes dark. Then he turned to her and said, "We get to your family first." Damian's black car raced through the city like a storm. Lena sat in the front seat, shaking. Her hands would not stay still. "My mom," she whispered. "She's alone." Damian kept his eyes on the road. "She won't be for long." That answer did not help. It made everything worse. Rain started falling against the windows. The city lights blurred. Lena tried calling her mother again. No answer. Again, nothing. Her chest tightened. "Please pick up. Please." Damian reached over for 1 second and gently lowered her phone. "She's alive." "How do you know?" "Because Victor wants fear first. Death comes later." Lena stared at him. Only a Mafia boss could say something like that so calmly. And somehow, she believed him. They reached her apartment building. Too quiet. Too dark. Lena jumped out before the car fully stopped. "Lena, wait!" But she was already running upstairs. Her heart pounded harder with every step. She opened the apartment door. "Mom!" Silence. The living room was a mess. A chair was knocked over, a broken vase on the floor. Her mother's phone lay near the couch. Lena's breathing turned sharp. "No, no, no, no." Then, she heard a voice from the kitchen. "Looking for someone?" Lena turned and froze. It was Ethan, her ex-boyfriend, holding a glass of water like he belonged there. She stared at him in shock. What are you doing here? Ethan gave a weak smile. I was hoping we could talk. Damian walked in behind her. The second Ethan saw him, his face changed. Fear. Real fear. Lena stepped back. Her voice shook. Where is my mother? Ethan looked down. She's safe. Where is she? He finally looked up. And the truth hit harder than a slap. I told Victor where to find you. Silence. Lena could not move, could not breathe. You what? Tears filled her eyes. You sold me? Ethan's voice broke. They offered me money. I had debts, Lena. I had no choice. You had a choice. She was shaking now. You chose money over me, over my family. Damian said nothing, but his silence was terrifying. Ethan looked at him and turned pale. Please, please, I said I was sorry. Damian stepped forward slowly, cold, controlled. Sorry, he said quietly, is for accidents. Another step. Betrayal is a decision. Lena grabbed Damian's arm. Wait! Both men looked at her. Tears ran down her face. She pointed at Ethan. Tell me where my mother is. Ethan whispered the answer, and Lena wished she had never asked. Because her mother was not just taken. She was being held at Victor's private estate, and there were only 2 hours left until midnight. Would you forgive Ethan or never speak to him again? Comment forgive or never below. Lena stood in the middle of her broken apartment, trying not to fall apart. Her mother was with Victor at his private estate, and midnight was getting closer. Rain hit the windows harder now, like even the sky was warning her. Damian looked at Ethan one last time. Get out. Ethan did not argue. He left fast, like he was running from death itself. The door shut. Silence. Lena wiped her tears, but more came. I have to go, she said. Damian crossed his arms. No. She turned sharply. That's my mother! And walking into Victor's house alone helps no one. He said if I go, he lets her go. Damian's eyes were cold. No, he said that because he wants control. Lena stepped closer. Then what do I do? Sit here and hope? Yes, while I handle it. She laughed bitterly. Of course, the great Damian De Luca handles everything. His jaw tightened. This is not a game, Lena. No, it's my life! Her voice cracked. My mother is there because of me, because I kissed the wrong man at the wrong party. The words hung in the room. Painful, sharp. For the first time, Damian looked hurt. Just for a second. Then it disappeared. You think I don't know that? He asked quietly. Lena froze. He's just a man carrying guilt. I should have stayed away from you, he said. Then why didn't you? Silence. Rain. Thunder. Then Damian said the one thing she never expected. Because I couldn't. Her heart stopped. He looked at her like the truth cost him something. From the moment I saw you, staying away stopped being an option. Lena forgot how to breathe. This was bigger than danger now. Bigger than fear. And that scared her most. Her phone suddenly rang. Both of them looked down. Unknown number. Lena answered with shaking hands. Hello? Victor's voice smiled through the phone. "Midnight is close, Lena." She said nothing. Then Victor added softly,
"If you want to hear your mother's voice one last time, come alone." The call ended. Lena stood there, frozen. Damian reached for the phone, but she stepped back. And for the first time, she made a choice without him. "I'm going," she whispered. Damian's face darkened. "Lena, I'm going." And before he could stop her, she ran straight into Victor's trap.
Lena's hands shook as the taxi stopped in front of Victor Russo's estate. It looked less like a house and more like a prison for rich people. Tall black gates, silent guards, no warmth, no escape. She stepped out into the cold night air, her heart beating so hard it hurt. One guard opened the gate without a word. They were expecting her. That made it worse. Lena walked inside alone. Every step felt heavier. She wanted to turn back. She wanted Damian, but it was too late. A maid in black waited by the front door. "This way." No smile, no kindness, just fear. They walked through long halls filled with expensive paintings and silence. Finally, the maid stopped in front of a red door, bright red, like blood. "She's inside."
Lena pushed the door open and froze. Her mother sat in a chair near the window, alive, untouched, crying. "Mom!" Lena ran to her and dropped to her knees. Her mother held her tightly. "Oh God, Lena, I was so scared." I'm here. For 1 second, everything else disappeared. Just mother and daughter, safe, together. Then, beautiful, isn't it? Victor's voice. Lena stood up fast and turned. He was leaning against the doorway, smiling like he was proud of himself. "You monster," she whispered. He gave a soft laugh. Such strong words for someone standing in my house. Her mother grabbed Lena's hand. "Don't fight him, please." Lena stepped in front of her. "What do you want?" Victor walked into the room slowly. "I want balance. You want control." "That too." He stopped only a few feet away. "Damian took something from me years ago." His smile disappeared. "Now, I take something from him."
Lena's stomach turned. "I'm not his." Victor looked at her for a long moment. Then he said quietly, "That is where you are wrong." Before Lena could answer, another voice came from behind her mother. Soft, female, familiar. She really doesn't know, does she? Lena turned, and her blood ran cold. Tessa, her best friend, standing there, calm, working for Victor. The same friend who tied the blindfold, the same friend who pushed her into that kiss. Lena stepped back in shock. "No." Tessa smiled sadly. "I'm sorry, Lena." Victor folded his hands. The party was never an accident. Silence. The room spun. Lena looked from Tessa to Victor, and finally understood. She had not chosen Damian. She had been sent to him from the very beginning. Did Tessa betray Lena for money or for something even darker? Comment money or darker below.
Lena could not move. She stared at Tessa like she was looking at a stranger.
No,
she whispered.
No, you're lying.
Tessa stood still. Her eyes were full of guilt, but she did not deny it. The truth was worse than any lie. Lena's voice shook. You tied the blindfold.
Yes.
You pushed me toward him.
Yes.
You planned all of this? Tessa closed her eyes for 1 second, then opened them. With Victor.
Yes.
Lena felt like the floor disappeared beneath her. Her best friend. The one person she trusted.
The one who laughed with her, cried with her, stood beside her, had handed her over like a gift. Why? Lena asked. One word. Broken. Tessa's voice was quiet. Because I had no choice. Lena laughed bitterly. Funny. Ethan said the same thing. This is different. Then explain it. Tessa stepped forward. Victor watched silently, enjoying every second. Tears filled Tessa's eyes. My younger brother. Victor has him. The room went still. He's sick, Lena. Very sick. I needed money for treatment. I begged everywhere. No one helped. Her voice cracked. Victor did. Lena said nothing, because pain did not erase betrayal. Tessa wiped her face. He said all I had to do was get you close to Damian. Just one kiss, just one moment. Then he promised my brother would be safe. Lena whispered. And you believed him?
Tessa looked away. I wanted to. Victor smiled slowly. I do love honesty. Lena turned to him with fire in her eyes. You used all of us. He gave a small shrug. That is what power is. Before she could speak again, boom! A loud explosion shook the entire estate. The walls trembled. The lights flickered. Her mother screamed. Guards shouted outside. Victor's smile disappeared. Another explosion. Closer. Then gunfire. Fast. Violent. Relentless. Lena's heart leaped. She already knew. Only one man would come like this.
Only one man would turn hell upside down for her. Damian.
Victor cursed under his breath.
Well, he said coldly, your Mafia prince has arrived.
Lena's pulse raced.
Hope, fear, chaos, all at once.
Victor stepped toward her. If he enters this room, one of you dies first. He pulled out a gun and pointed it straight at her mother. Lena stepped forward instantly. No! From outside, heavy footsteps thundered closer. Gunshots, screams, then silence. The door handle moved, slowly. Victor smiled darkly. Let's see who opens that door. Click. The lock turned, and Lena stopped breathing. If Damian walks in and only one person can be saved first, who should he choose? Comment Lena, her mom, or Tessa below.
The handle turned. Slowly. Every second felt like forever. Lena stood frozen, her body shaking. Victor's gun was still pointed at her mother. Tessa was crying silently in the corner. And outside the door, death was waiting. Click. The door opened. Damian stepped in. Black suit, blood on his sleeve, cold eyes burning like fire. He looked like war itself.
His gaze found Lena first. Alive. Safe. For 1 second, nothing else mattered. Then he saw the gun, pointed at her mother, and his face turned deadly. Step away from them, Russo. Victor smiled. You always know how to make an entrance. Damian walked in slowly, controlled, dangerous. Every step was a warning.
"You touched what is mine," he said. Victor laughed. "There it is. I was waiting for you to finally admit it." Lena's heart pounded. Damian did not deny it. Not even once. Victor pressed the gun harder. "Here is the game. You choose." He pointed at Lena. Her. Then at her mother. Or her mother. Silence. Lena's chest tightened. "No." Her mother started crying. "Don't choose me. Save my daughter. Mom, please."
Damian stood still, his face unreadable. But Lena could see it, the storm behind his eyes. Victor smiled. 10 seconds. He started counting. 10. Lena looked at Damian. "Please."
His voice was calm. Too calm. You talk too much, Russo. 3. Victor's finger tightened on the trigger. 2. Lena screamed. "Damian!" Then, bang! The gun fired. Everything stopped. Silence. Smoke. Shock. Someone fell. Lena couldn't breathe. She looked down and saw blood on the floor. But whose blood was it? Because the person lying there was not who anyone expected. Who do you think got shot? Damian? Victor? Tessa? Or someone else? Comment your guess below. And subscribe now. Lena's ears rang. For a moment, she could hear nothing. Just silence. Heavy. Terrible. Then her vision cleared, and she saw who was on the floor. Tessa! Lena dropped to her knees. Tessa was lying in blood, shaking, her hand pressed against her stomach. She had jumped. She had stepped in front of Lena's mother just as Victor pulled the trigger. Her mother was safe. But Tessa had taken the bullet. "No, no, no!" Lena cried. Tessa gave a weak, painful smile. "Yes, this is me finally being a good friend." Lena's tears fell fast. "Don't talk like that! Stay with me!" Across the room, Victor looked shocked. Even he had not expected that. Damian moved fast. He grabbed Victor's wrist, twisted hard. Crack! Victor screamed as the gun fell. Then Damian slammed him against the wall with enough force to shake the room. It was over. The monster had nowhere to run. But Lena barely noticed. She held Tessa's hand tightly. "Why would you do this?" Tessa's breathing was weak. "Because I was selfish and stupid, and I almost destroyed your life." Her eyes filled with tears. But Lena's world was still focused on one thing: Tessa. Paramedics rushed in and lifted her carefully. As they carried her away, Tessa reached for Lena one last time and whispered, "There's something you still don't know." Lena leaned closer. Tessa's lips trembled. "Damian, he knew you before the party." Lena froze. What? But Tessa was already losing consciousness.
Her hand slipped away. The paramedics rushed her out, and Lena slowly turned toward Damian. He was standing there, silent, watching her, waiting. Her voice shook. What does she mean? You knew me before. Damian said nothing for a long moment. Then he took one step closer and whispered, "Because your father once saved my life." She stared at Damian like she had never seen him before. Her voice came out small. "My father died when I was 16. Damian nodded once. "I know." "Then how do you know him?" He looked away for the first time, like even he hated this memory. "Because before I became the man people fear," his voice dropped, "I was just a young man running from death." Lena said nothing. She needed the truth. All of it. Damian walked to the window. Rain still touched the glass. 10 years ago, I was betrayed by people I trusted. I was shot, left to die on a road outside the city.
He paused. "Your father found me." Lena's throat tightened. "He didn't know who I was. He just saw a wounded man." Damian turned back to her. "And he saved me." She could almost picture it. Her father, kind, stubborn, always helping strangers. Yes, that sounded like him. "He hid me," Damian continued. "Protected me. Kept my enemies away until I could stand again." Lena whispered. "Why didn't he tell me?" "Because he made me promise something." Damian stepped closer. "He said if anything ever happened to him, I would protect you." Lena's eyes filled. Her father, even after death, he had still been trying to keep her safe. She shook her head. "So all this time, you were watching me?" Damian did not lie. "Yes." "Since when?" "Since your father's funeral." Her breath caught. For years, he had been there, in shadows, silent, watching, protecting, and she never knew.
This story teaches that truth always finds a way to come out, no matter how long it is hidden. Lena's life changed because of one unexpected moment, but the real lesson was not about the kiss. It was about courage, trust, and facing painful truths. One major lesson is that betrayal can come from the people closest to us. Tessa and Ethan both hurt Lena, but their choices showed that fear and greed can destroy trust. This reminds us to be careful about who we trust, but also to understand that people's choices have consequences. Another lesson is that love is proven by actions, not words. Damian was feared by everyone, but his actions showed his true heart. He protected Lena, risked his life for her, and even walked into fire to save her. Real love is not just saying I love you. It is sacrifice, loyalty, and standing beside someone when life gets hard. The story also teaches that courage is choosing what is right even when you are afraid. Lena could have run away, but she chose to fight for her mother, her father's truth, and her own future. She learned that fear should not control your life. Finally, justice may take time, but truth is stronger than lies. Her father's name was cleared because Lena refused to give up. The lesson is simple. Secrets can hide for years, but truth, courage, and love will always be stronger in the end.